How's it going, everybody? So today I want to talk about some of the most powerful angles in all of Counter-Strike 2, and that's going to be the shadow angles that you can hold to where you're going to see the enemy's shadow before they peek into you. If you pay close attention, Kerrigan's actually going to spot the shadow before Brolin peeks him, and that gives him a little bit of a heads up before he gets peeked, allowing him to get the frag. And believe it or not, there are a ton of other positions that you can take full advantage of this from and get the heads up on your opponents in every single one of your fights. We're going to take a look at all of those, but first I want to thank today's sponsor, Skins Monkey. So Skins Monkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code CSTactics on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. So now let's take a look at what these shadow angles can do for you and how to avoid giving the enemy too big of an advantage in these sorts of fights. So starting off, we're here in A main in CS2 Ancient. This is one of the most potent shadow angles that there is in the game, and I'll show you why. So if you were to just start walking through the middle of this doorway towards A main, well, if you'll notice, your shadow is going to stick out all the way up to the far side of this door. If I were to place a bot here in this position, as you can see, that shadow is stretching all the way across. So most of the angles outside of A main, they're actually going to be able to see this shadow coming in. So a great way that you can deal with this is instead of just walking right through this door, as simple as this may be, you can just go closer to this light, and as you can see, your shadow is going to duck under here and not show out all the way to here. Now, the one issue is, no matter what happens, whenever you're ready to peek this position, you're still going to have a shadow shown right here, which makes this position here, it makes this boost up spot right here extremely potent. As you can see this shadow sticking out here, and I'll show you what that looks like from an actual perspective of my friend Chase peeking me. As you can see, while he's incrementally clearing all of the angles towards backside, I'm able to watch and see his shadow as it's moving out and get the first 5 shots off before he even fights back. So now let's move on and take a look at all of the important shadow angles that you should know about on every single map to where they apply. So starting off, we're just going to continue on with Ancient here and move up towards Temple. So anytime the T's have taken aggressive control here of Temple, if you're ever set up back here in CT, well, it's very easy to hold for them to peek you because no matter what they do, as you can see here, their shadow is going to expand from this light all the way out to this back wall here. Whether they go on this far side and peek through, their shadow is going to be visible before they are. No matter what they do, there's nothing they can really do about it. So if you're set up in a position back here, no matter where you are, this is what it looks like in an actual scenario. And just like before, I'm able to spot that shadow coming in, make an adjustment, and get a few headshots before he's able to get too much damage off on me. Moving on over here to Red Room, this is one of the more powerful angles as well because of how bright this light is, and anywhere you go here, whether you go on the left side, you're going to have a shadow here, or if you hug the right side, you're going to have a shadow end up on this back box to where it's very easy for someone holding an angle like this to spot you as you're peeking. As you can see, there is a very obvious shadow on the back box. The hardest thing to do is to not accidentally shoot it as they're coming out. So now let's go ahead and talk about Cave. Whenever you're a CT holding this position, it's very easy to spot any of the T's as they're pushing up because this light right here is going to shine a shadow right along this brick right here. It's not a very bright one, but it's definitely visible from their perspective. Along with that, typically what the T's like to do is they're going to clear this angle and then this angle. So a lot of times professional players are set up right here along this wall to catch them as they're clearing this position with a free kill and a bit of information as to how soon they're checking. I'll go ahead and show you an example of that right now. You can probably notice the shadow moving on this wall as he's jiggling those first angles, giving me a huge advantage in the fight. This is what it looks like from his perspective. So much like Ancient, Vertigo has a ton of these types of angles as well. One of the most important ones to know about is this one right here in Heaven or Hell, whichever side they're peeking from. If you'll notice here, as the CTs are coming on rotate, wherever they're moving from, you're always going to be able to see a shadow either here on this back wall or even on this back wall right into this position. There's nothing they can do to avoid having a shadow shown on one of these positions if they're eventually going to peek. It is just going to happen. No matter what, you're definitely going to see a piece of them. And if they try to go and jump up here, well, you're still going to see all of this on this back wall and you're going to know they even jumped up here. So you have so much information from holding an angle, even something as simple as just holding behind default. You're going to be seeing whether or not they're jumping up or if they're just moving across. And a great aggressive angle you can take if you have a ton of map control after you've planted the bomb as a T is just going right here and just swinging off of any of the contact as they push through. I'll show an example of that right now. So whether they're just walking along the backside, you can easily peek and swing them, or if they decide to jump up on top of Heaven, you're going to be able to tell from from the shadow, no problem at all, and get a huge advantage in the fight. And if you've ever taken control of bottom ramp in the mid to late round, a great position to set up on is right around here, and that's because there is a giant light right in this position that's going to shine a massive shadow all the way across the bridge, just like this, as you can see. It's even going to catch them the second they walk out of this door. If they go straight to the bridge, well, you're going to get a huge warning sign. Now, ideally, if you want to not give them a huge tip, you can crouch up under this light and go all the way up on this left side, but no matter what you do, after you peek to this point, your shadow's still going to be showing all the way up to here, so anyone set up in this position is going to have a major advantage in the fight. I mean, just look how long I'm able to spot the shadow before I'm able to get an easy frag right onto him as he peeks me. And finally, one last light you should probably be worried about on Vertigo is this one right here. If you're ever rotating as a CT or vice versa as a T towards elevator here, there's no reason to walk past this light without thinking about it, because if someone's set up in a position right here, they may see you cast a shadow and go for a nice little peek onto you. So I recommend just coming really close up to this thing and just doing a nice little crouch past it to make sure that you're not giving away any unnecessary information. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Nuke. So if the CTs are ever getting very aggressive here towards lobby, maybe they've pushed through trophy, one thing that you can keep an eye out for is if they're standing in front of these vending machines. Now, anyone that knows what they're doing is either going to set up all the way back in this corner where there's no shadow, or just push on past it. Now, you may be able to catch them in transit though. If they're just kind of moving up, right, it may be worth just kind of peeking it in this fashion to where if there's a shadow that's moving forward, well, you've got a very easy pre-aim that you can destroy the CT as they're pushing up off of. And the same concept holds true down here towards Secret. If you're ever holding this single door area and think that a CT or a T is going to swing out here on you, well, instead of holding a nice head angle like this, it may be a better idea to push forward where you can see their shadow before they push out. It is a very easy angle to hold, and if you get that early warning sign, you're probably going to be able to take this player down. And hey, if they're just standing here like an idiot, well, it's very easy to line that up and destroy them as quickly as possible. And finally, whether you're in a post plant on T or just defending the bomb site on CT, if you ever think that the Ts are about to push through control here, well, it's very easy to just watch out for this shadow right here, and you're able to catch them either as they're jumping or as they're falling so that you can time out a peek a whole lot better and know that they're pushing through as opposed to just being in the dark and not realizing it. So yeah, guys, those were some of my favorite shadow angles to hold in all of Counter-Strike 2. If there's any that you like to abuse that I didn't include in this video, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, or join my Discord and post it there for me to share, maybe in my next video. Anyways, guys, if you want to support me, go ahead and click that Skins Monkey link down in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.